Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book 91. We are giving you guys the US Taskforce conversation around Married at First Sight. Yes, we're talking about episode 10. We're talking about some of the craziness that happened. I know many of you were frustrated by Chris's behavior that he exhibited while they had a Bible study at the very end of episode 10. Some of you also were commenting around Eric and some of his potentially controlling behaviors that he exhibited too. Some people probably said as well that he might be MAGA favorable as well. Now, I don't know if he is, but that's what some of y'all would say. Okay. And then we also had, I'm so sorry, Eric and Virginia. And then we also had as well this week, we had between Ryan and Clara, we had some really deep conversations with Dr. Viviana around potentially some sexual intimacy issues with Clara and Ryan. I think it was, I made a few jokes in the past few weeks, but this one seems really serious this week. There's some things that they're going to have to really work through, I think, with a therapist on both sides. And then we also had Bree and Vincent. I don't know about you guys, but I felt I was a little bit scared when she rubbed his forehead when they were having fun at the little, what do you call it, dinner party underneath the tent or whatever they had. It was going well and it went well. I was just a little bit scared that when she rubbed his head, he might have taken offense to it. And then our final couple that we had was Jacob and Haley. I'm still confused as to what work she's doing. She was saying to us and to the experts that she was Rihanna-ing it up all the way through work, but I didn't see any work. But she is intent that she's doing her utmost. But let's discuss this on today's particular episode, and I have some great guests with me today who are going to also shed some light and some holistic views on today's episode. I have August Love Story and Jack and Glenn, but I'm going to let August Love Story go first. Let them introduce themselves, let you know where they can be found.
Hi, I'm Artieka.
I'm Tommy.
And we're all over the internet at August Love Story.
Beautiful.
Appreciate Google my name, you can find us.
Appreciate that. And we have Jack and Glenn. Jack and Glenn.
I'm Jackie.
And I'm her husband, Glenn.
He's my husband, Glenn.
And you can find us everywhere at Jack Glenn. On Instagram, you find us at Jack_Glenn. On Twitter, same thing, Jack_Glenn. And we're just ready to get this popping. Look forward to this each and every week just to see the discussions that people are having in the chat box and to meet up with you guys. So we're really excited, and there's a lot to talk about because there's a lot of issues this week. We wish definitely, a lot of issues where you need some therapists. A lot of people need some therapy.
That is not a lie. So, I mean, let's come out the gate strong then. Let's go with Chris and Paige. There was obviously the incident where obviously Dr. Viviana saw Chris. And then obviously then they had a conversation, and in the end, Paige looked like she was trying to find ways to create a schedule just to get the guy to even pay attention, have a conversation. I mean, what was you guys' thoughts this week on Chris and Paige and some of the issues that they're facing at the current moment? August Love Story, go for it, and then we'll let Jack and Glenn go.
I'm tired. Chris is not okay. One of the things that our bishop at our church says all the time is men lead your household. Chris has not attempted to lead his household in any way, shape, form, or capacity. If they sit down to pray, he wants Paige to pray. If they have to plan out something, he wants Paige to plan it out. He is just not an example of any type of husband, good, bad, or indifferent. With him, I'm just feeling like it's just like he's buying his time so he doesn't get fined as well. Like, I have to show up to do X amount of things, so I'm going to show up. Like, we don't have any issues that is going to prevent us from safely being around each other. Like, there's no violence or anything like that. So I just show up when I have to show up. I leave when I need to leave, and I do the bare minimum. That's what I feel about Chris. A lot of people came at me this week in our comment section because I said Paige has stated her intentions. We're looking at what she's doing, but we're not listening to her. And if you listen to what she said, Paige has clearly said, I am done. And I'm literally buying out my time, figuring out what we're doing here. She didn't refer to him as someone that she wanted to be with. When she sat down with Dr. Viviana, she definitely talked about their relationship in past tense. So I think that Paige is done, and she's too buying her time so she doesn't get fined.
That's deep.
Yeah. That's heavy.
I didn't even pay attention to the fact that she used the relationship in past tense. But I do think that Chris is, at this point, Chris is just here for the press, the like somebody's talking about me. He realized, like, at this point, we know Chris does not want to be with this girl. And he's just here because one thing that stood out to me was he says, now I have to tell you something. I bought Mercedes a Mercedes. And then you didn't have to tell her that.
No.
If you didn't discuss it with her in the first place, you didn't have to tell her that. It is not her business.
Right.
You're telling her that now just to see what type of reaction you get from her. Just to see that somebody is going to talk about you, just to get the press. And I mean, good or bad, it's press. It's somebody knows my name now. I can go do X, Y, and Z because somebody knows my name. Right. Paige, on the other hand, like Paige is subduing, like it bothers me that she's subduing herself to this type of abuse. But I mean, like I think she's doing it for a check too. So it's a sad situation to look at. It's interesting now on the psychological thing. It's like how they can, like, how he can be so controlling of her, of pushing what she's willing to do. Because there's been times where me and Artieka have talked, and I said, you know, we were talking about we need to go on more dates, and my whole thing was set the date up. And her the whole thing was, well, you need to set the date up because you know when you can do something. It's like, okay, well, we got to work together as far as like doing that. But you saw on the on what was that, Wednesday, he basically was like, you do everything. She just asked him to call her. He's like, well, no, I want us to get together and stuff. You do everything, and I'll show up. Like, no, it don't work like that, man. So yeah, I think they're just wasting our time, and they're wasting each other's time for a check. You know, so
I hear that.
My thought.
Appreciate it, Elvis. Jack Glenn, what's your thoughts?
Good.
I feel like Artieka. I'm tired. Truth is, I'm tired. I'm tired of them. I'm tired. They're wearing me out. I mean, from the time he walked into the apartment to talk to Dr. Viv, I was like, really, bruh? He walked up, what's up, yo? What? Gave this little weak hug. I'm like, bruh, the Bible study, that sucked. You know, I don't know. I guess I can kind of feel like what you're saying with, you know, Paige is there for the check, but I think she's putting her best foot forward, like for her Bible study, for example. She talked about friendship because she knows that's, if we're going to do anything, that's all we're going to be able to do at this point. I'm done with trying to be married to you. Let's just be friends then. Let's be cordial. I like what Dr. Viv was like. You know, she was like, I thought this was weird. Paige says, I just want, can we FaceTime or call one time a day? Once. One time. And he was like, well, I don't really want to do that. You know, why don't we go out for dinner? But I ain't never went out to dinner with nobody I didn't talk to on the phone. First. I've never, ever. Like, so we just gonna start a conversation off the top at dinner, you know, or why don't we have Bible study? He did. He put it on her. Okay. She had the paper and the pen. Okay, what are we doing Thursday? Oh, my favorite one was, what we doing Sunday? Oh, I'm indisposed on Sunday. What you doing?
That's when they take the car out for a ride. Sunday afternoon drive. It's a Sunday afternoon drive.
Was that when you went to get the car?
No, it was a Sunday afternoon drive. I'm telling you.
I'm just tired of them. It's a waste of time.
Hey, I'm not tired. I'm here for the drama. Because I'm here for the drama. I'm not tired. because it gives me good stuff to look at and analyze each and every week. And so what I'm talking about, because we just did a video, we dropped it, I think it's on our page, that how Bible study should have went. If you was Paige, how Bible study should have been. I'll put the link in the description in the chat in a minute. But again, Paige was ready for it because she really wanted to say, okay, let's do it. And Chris, he gave some ideas. Let's go play basketball. Paige's like, I don't do that. So, okay, fine. Here's another activity. You can even see when Dr. Viv was there. He didn't want to be there. He's sitting on the edge of the couch. You know what I'm saying? He's sitting there because of his body language said, you know what, I don't even want to be here. He's not even close to her. If the relationship's not going to work, why are we still meeting with Dr. Viv? If the relationship, if you already say you divorced her, then he makes the comment, right? This is the comment, and people got to read into this. He said, divorce proceedings stopped, or I was going to divorce, or something of that nature.
I've paused on the thoughts of divorce for now.
I paused on the thoughts of divorce for now. You didn't really pause on the thoughts for divorce. Guess what happened? Production and read the contract. When you took it to your lawyer, said you can't get divorced while the show is going on. Mm-hmm. And so you didn't really pause. They paused it for you. So now you're obligated to hang out. You're obligated to be there. You can tell his body language don't want to be there. Paige, on the other hand, I think Paige is at the point, you know what? I'm still going to continue to look ladylike for TV. I'm not going to go off. I want to be able to keep my dignity, my respect here on TV. But like most of us want to see her go off at least one time, right? And we didn't see her go off. We heard her go off on a telephone, and that's because she didn't know she was being recorded by production. But legitimately, we want to see her go off one time. Like, look, tell this dude how you really feel. Say it from the deeps of your soul and your chest, how you really, really feel. Yeah, say it with your chest. Put some bass in your voice. Like, dog, I deserve better. You can't treat me like this. You can't handle me like this. To me, it's getting to the point where it's almost like this ain't real life. Because most African American women that I know, it wouldn't have got this far.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't have got this far. I'm not saying it would have got physical. But she would at least give you the piece of her mind. And to me, Paige is keeping it too peaceful. And I mean peaceful by like, dog, this is what I expect. This is what I want. If you can't meet these standards, then guess what? Go ahead. You ain't gotta never come around. Again, we go back to like, you'll never watch this. Zach never came around. Zach never came around. We never saw Zach and Mindy once they decided to call it quits. So guess what? You stay over in your apartment. I stay over in this apartment they're providing for us. You know what I'm saying? And we keep it PC. You don't want to call me once a day or once a week? That's fine. I ride the next 5 weeks out at home or in this apartment rent free, whatever case may be. To me, it seems like she keeps begging for his attention, what she's not getting.
Mm-hmm.
It's deep. I'm hearing you on this. I don't even know what else to say on Kristen Paige, to be honest. The song you mentioned there is great. Truth is, I'm tired. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't know, but I mean, obviously, just watching. I mean, I hope that I want to hope that she's acting. I want to, but something tells me if she is acting, she's acting, but at the same time, part of her really does hope that this somehow turns around. So it's almost like when you have to fake not caring for a partner, like, because you know they're moving cold, so you got to fake that you're moving cold too. But really and truly, if they turn around, you're gonna be on it. And that's how I feel about Paige. That if she is acting, she's acting because she knows this guy is kind of mugging it. But part of her wants this to be turned around. So that's why the extra stuff of coming around and all that kind of stuff is still going on. Because truth of the matter is, like you said, Zach didn't even bother. Zach didn't even bother. He said, listen, I'm not moving in. I'm not coming there. You know what I'm saying? Once in a while, I'll come and see what the dog is saying. But after that, he ain't doing nothing.
But that also makes me wonder, because we know that the contracts change from season to season.
True.
Has the contract gotten tighter? Where it's like, no, you're not going to get paid unless you do X, Y, and Z.
Right.
So X, Y, and Z is you need to show up at least once an episode.
Mm. I mean, they can show up. Do they have to show up together?
Right.
Depending on how you read it. You know how some things are worded in weird ways where you're like, I don't know. Do we have to do this together? Are we contractually obligated to film scenes together? You just never know.
Right.
You got a good point there. We'll see, because we'll see at the end if they make the decision day, if he shows up for that. Who was that last year? I didn't show up at the end of the party. Was it Brandon?
Brett,
Was it Brett?
Brett didn't show
Brett.
up.
Yeah, Brett didn't show up. You know, so
But
we'll
that's
see.
because
I
they
mean,
went past their time, isn't it? He wasn't contracted to show up.
oh,
He
Yeah,
had
they
to show up.
date in his contract, and because it was a date and he exceeded the 8
The
weeks,
time, yeah.
he was like, I don't have to show up. I'm done.
right,
Right.
right. Good point there. Good point.
Okay, interesting. Fair enough. Wow. Paige, if you're hearing this, we're praying that you're acting and you're very good at acting. As for that, I don't know. All right, cool. We'll leave them alone because we don't show the acting or not. Let's talk about someone. Obviously, we had Clara and Ryan. I think this one is it got a little bit deep really
Yeah.
quickly with Dr. Viviana coming over there. What do we think about the fact that this was a question that was obviously asked when we had our live on Thursday? But what do you guys think about the fact that they're having some type of sex, but he's not now trying to go all the way because he wants to create that intimacy for longevity? What's that about?
Do we go first?
You can go first. Go for it.
It made me think about, so when I was in high school, there were some girls, and I'm not saying this is right, but there were some girls that like to say they were still virgins, but they were doing everything else except to do.
Yeah.
The everything but girls.
Everything but. They were doing everything but to do. And I was like, that's Ryan. I'm like, bruh. And then for Vivian to say, so are there times when it's getting hot and heavy? You know, when y'all are doing everything but the sex? Who pumps the brakes? And Clara's like, him. Bro, come on. You doing everything but.
He enjoyed being served.
You having sex. You're having sex. Brian, you're having sex. Who are you fooling? Who are you fooling? And it's not fair to her. You're getting her right there. And you go bloop and you drop her off.
Hold on. See, don't read into it. We don't know yet. He
That's
might
true.
be getting her there, but she just may not be getting the penetration.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They are doing everything but that.
Maybe he knows his penetration game ain't good.
Honestly, I genuinely believe that.
I'm just, no. It just maybe so he's not experienced. We talked about it in our video. Maybe he's not experienced at that aspect of sex.
I felt so vindicated when Dr. Viv pulled Clara to the side and said, I just gotta ask you, do you think maybe he's not completely being honest about his sexual history? Could he be a virgin? Could he? Claire was like, I mean, he said he had sex. And then I had the thought, I was like, maybe he has had the sex. He's had it with one person, and nothing's wrong with it. Nothing's wrong with it. He's had it with one person, maybe once or twice.
Yeah.
So he lacks experience. You know, it's almost the same. It's almost the same thing, you know. But I don't know. I don't know if you wanted to go there. But the other thing that really disturbed me in that talk was when Clara and Dr. Viv were talking, and how his emotion is completely disconnected from sex for her. I was concerned. I was so worried because I'm like, most people I know that don't connect their emotions when it's just the do for them is when somebody has just done the do to them. You know what I mean? Like, I'm talking about sexual abuse. You know, I'm not saying that's what it is, but you know, we know people like that it really is some Mr. and Sealy stuff. He just gets on top of me and does his stuff. He does what he does. And my heart's not in it. I don't love him. We don't kiss, you know, whatever the case may be. I was so disturbed. And I was like, you poor child. I mean, I was saddened by that because it is nothing like being with somebody that you really love and have a connection with. And she's missing that. And she's grown. It's so sad.
Maybe Brian understands that. He doesn't want to give it. He doesn't want to have that type of love with her until it's really genuine. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm just trying to look at it from both ends. And that he maybe want to, you know what? I know this is how she's feeling, but I want to make sure that I don't know if I'm going to be with her after 8 weeks. So I don't want to be another body on her list. I don't want to be another person there. So I want to make sure that we are connected before I give her all of me. And so, and so I'm just looking from that aspect of it, because we said kind of the same thing with Keith. Like, why didn't you sleep with Iris? Right? And so now we're looking out, now we're telling Ryan, like, go ahead. Let's be honest, Keith and Iris was doing other things. Right? Keith and Iris was doing things. They never went all the way. And so we're giving Ryan a whole bunch of trouble, but how come we wasn't giving Iris this type of trouble? Maybe because they're talking about it more. So I'm just looking at from past seasons, trying to correlate. And would we be giving Ryan this much trouble if the roles were reversed? If it was Claire not trying to give it up to Ryan, but it was doing all type of stuff?
Nope.
Will we be having that conversation? Is it because he a guy? And so, again, his inexperience maybe, or again, he ain't at the point where he really love her. He maybe, again, he's never said the L word. So maybe he's equating sex with love too, that the only way I can really go all the way with you if I have to tell you I love you.
Okay. Yeah.
It's not gonna help. It's not gonna help. If he's waiting for that feeling with her, she flat out, she said, I've never had that demand put on me. True. She said that. She says, I've never had to do that.
And she may not ever get it because he's getting his rocks off every night or whenever he wants to. And she's doing, and he may not ever, he may like that more than he likes the other part. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so he may like what she's giving and may not like the penetration. So whatever she's doing, he enjoying, because she said he asked for a lot of stuff. Yeah. And so let's be honest, she did it more than once. She's done it more than once. And she continued to do it. So why is she continuing to do it if she don't like it?
Right. That's true.
I guess you have to look at it. Well, one of the ways that I look at it with Ryan is that Ryan he's been trained to be very image conscious, and he's just not presenting anything, because he was one of the ones that said that they weren't going to talk about their sex life regardless. And he's like held very strong to that, because even when they got to the conversation about what's your favorite position, he wouldn't give an answer. And that either says inexperience, or I'm just like, I'm not talking about it at all, period. Like, don't ask me any more questions about it. Like, we can talk about it when these cameras aren't on, but while people are here, and America being the people that are here, we're not doing that. And he's very quick to shut down conversations with her when he doesn't want to deal with it. Like, so I think that it may not be an issue of inexperience. I think it is very like, he's hyper aware of everything that's going on, and he has to still be the person that he is presenting himself as outside of this show.
I think Ryan is, I'm gonna take Ryan for his word. Like, it's trust that he's trying to build with this woman, and the best way to build trust is to remove the sex. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can be sitting up there doing everything, but I'm not penetrating like that. Like, we all know, like, the thing that she could possibly be doing. You know what I'm saying? So if you, like, me personally, I look at it differently. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's still sex, but I think it's orally sex. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure everybody was on the same page. But you know, just them doing that's looked upon to be different from penetration sex or sexual intercourse. Ain't that what it's called?
Yeah.
Okay. So
doing the deed.
I call it something completely different, but you know, so I think that's the thing, that he's like, I can do everything else, but you know, in order for us to build this trust that I want us to have, or build this relationship that I want us to have, let's remove the penetration part. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't think it's right, because I mean, like, for me, it would have been, yeah, I'm putting it all in. You know what I'm saying? I'm going all the way. This sounds terrible, man. It sounds awful. But
it's real.
I think that's what it is, and it makes sense to me. It's I always tell friends, like, they be like, well, I don't have this relationship didn't work out. My first question is, did you have sex with this person? Because literally, before I was married, I was trash. I would have sex with a girl, and I would be like, I'm done. I got what I want. You know what I'm saying? So if he's trying to do more, and I'm just taking him for his word, like it may be something different, but I'm just taking him for his word. If he's trying to do more than just her be another number, then he removes the sex part. Like, okay, cool, bet. Let's build on this. Let's go on dates. Let's have fun. Let's really build a friendship. And then when that day comes, we can get it. Now on the flip side, Clara, that's not Clara. Like, sex is like you waking up drinking water. Like, I gotta have it. You know what I'm saying? So it's the sad part is it's a way for her to feel pretty. You know what I'm saying? I hate that that's the way she looks at it, or she puts sex up there, you know. But it's like it's looked upon to be okay. Well, he doesn't like me because he doesn't want to have sex with me.
Right.
And honestly, I don't think that's the case. I think they really truly get along with each other. I think they really truly are a great couple. There's certain things he can present to her that, you know, gonna go over her head, and there's certain things that she's gonna present that's gonna, you know, go over his head. But at the end of the day, their opposites also are attracted to each other. So I just think that because they're looking at it different, I think Clara needs some help, like therapy wise, and I think just Ryan is just I'm gonna take him at his word, man. He's just trying to build a great foundation with her and trying to make sure that without the sex, I don't like her because of the sex, because obviously she could be amazing at what she's doing, and that can mess you up. I mean, let's be honest, man. Like, it's, man, you know, men do some wild things for, you know.
I guess one last thing that I thought about with the two of them is Clara may need to take, granted it didn't work for him, but take Miles's approach from last season. Let's pick a date on the calendar. This is the date. We're going to circle it. We're going to have sex this day. Now, it could turn into the Karen thing and blow up and Ryan goes home. But it could also work out for them. So you just never know. It's a 50-50 situation.
He ain't gonna do it. He ain't gonna do it. He's not gonna do it. He's not gonna do it. You know what I mean?
I don't think he's gonna do it. I think his religious. You think about. We all said it. It seemed like he's a high school kid. You know what I'm saying? He's a high school. Maybe it's the religious background that he has. Again, I think everything we've said, even on past shows that we've done, he's trying to keep his image up for everything. If you notice, everything he does is kind of subtle. Even moving into wearing the Black Lives Matter T-shirts, everything he does has kind of been subtle and calculated. And so he has been doing things subtle and calculated. You know, not even want to comment on the favorite position. He's like, it's just simple things that he could say. But again, we said it is all for TV appearance. I think it's because he wants to be perceived as a certain way on TV, but not saying things and not doing things. Goes back to the $1 million question again. Why sign up for the show if you're not going to be open?
Yeah.
That's so true.
I hear that. I personally think, obviously, that with Clara and Ryan, obviously, you know, she does put pressure on him. I'm going to be honest with you. I said this the last time when it was about the drink situation. That it's actually a concern, like, because if she puts that kind of pressure on him during sex, then we've got a big issue, because that level of pressure is coerciveness. If it was a man the other way around, we'd be cussing. Yeah. You know, because I've got no problem with you being hot. And again, I also say that Ryan needs to take responsibility, because obviously, you know, you're giving her some, and then you're not giving her all the way, and you know how she's feeling. I would say maybe take it. I would say, like, yo, take it all off the board. This, like, you can't tell me that you want emotional connection and then you're still doing other sex. Like, they're not correlating. You know what I'm saying? You doing oral, or you doing a little hand movement here or there. It's all sex, and it's all going to create a different type of connection that you actually really want. So, for me, I'm on both. I'm seeing both of them. I'm like, Clara's very, very pushy, And I'm seeing Ryan also too at the same time, bro. You haven't. You're doing what you said you were gonna do, which is at the bar. He said, "I control things," and this is one of those methods. You are controlling things right now, Ryan. And so that for me, I think needs to be discussed. But I think Clara's issue of not wanting to have sex, having sex but having no connection, is something that she really needs to look deeper at. That's a big issue, that you're not connecting, but you're having sex so much. So for me, I think it may be an issue there that they may need to explore with some therapists for Clara, so she can get into it. Because if he does give in and have sex, we might have a big issue. He has sex and doesn't want to tell you he loves you. You got a way bigger issue. You're gonna be thinking, I've done everything now, and he still won't say I love you. That's a crash waiting to happen. So they need to build on that, and I think they need to get a therapist in there and just get speaking to Clara, because there may be something that might have happened in the past that's not allowing her to connect with sex, that she's never really connected to someone on that level. And then she was in a relationship before that for almost, was it 2 years or something? She only had sex like 3 times in a year.
Yeah, 3 times in a year.
That something's not connecting right.
Mhm.
Something's not quite right, Clara. You might, you know what I'm saying, you might want to just think about what's going on here. So yeah, there may be some issues there. What about Eric and Virginia then? So Eric and Virginia, there was that glorious scene with Dr. Viviana. What do we think? What do we think? August Love, you first, and then Jack and Glenn, go for it.
I'm gonna start out by saying that I don't think Eric should have signed up for this show.
Ooh.
If he has so many, I don't want to say deal breakers, but so many things that say, if you don't do X, then I'm gone. If you don't do Y, then I'm gone. If you don't do Z, then I'm gone. So it was like he started out with saying, I don't even know if she wants to have kids. If she doesn't want kids, I'm gone. Like, that's a tough relationship to go into, knowing that you don't know this person, knowing that you want to have kids. Like, you should have tried the traditional route of meeting a person outside of a TV show that has you marry them when you meet them. I think that Eric and Virginia both need to figure out a way to come to a middle ground for what their goals are with this marriage, because it sounds like he wants to have the family that his parents had, and she just doesn't want to have the family that her parents had. And they can do both of those things, but it's going to take a lot of work for both of them to understand the other person's standpoint, because it's very difficult for her to say, hey, I don't want to have kids unless my husband wants to have kids. That's not how you have kids.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's just going to make you resent having kids.
Yep.
Because kids are a ton of work. And if the only reason you're having them is for him, like, that just doesn't work at all. But I think that Eric has to stop using "I'm gone" as his answer or response to everything that he doesn't like about Virginia. Because it's just like, that would get on my nerves.
Mm-hmm.
I see in the comments somebody said he has on his invisible Trump hat. We obviously know everything short of I was at the Capitol on January 6th. Literally everything short of that. That is the only thing that he did not say in that statement. And I'm not even going to say that she's so far on the other side that they can't agree to disagree.
Right.
But like, he's up the wall. Like, I was in the military. Okay.
Right.
What does that mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't mean anything. But I think that Virginia and Eric can work out, but it's going to have to be a lot of agree to disagree about a lot of things in their relationship.
I think they got what helped a lot in this episode was at the end when they talked about the issues that they had. Hold on, I'm pulling up my notes. So the fact that Eric, it helped me understand where Eric was coming from when he was talking about the social media aspect in the beginning, like texting the friends and stuff. Because me and her talked with each other. We was like, she doesn't like it, but like, I'm so oblivious to things. It's like, I don't want to be with them, my exes, but I talk to them. You know what I'm saying? But like for him, it's a coping mechanism or protection mechanism that kicks in because he's been cheated on so many times. Now you have to look at the relationship and see, why were you cheated on? Why were you the victim in this, and figure out what are you doing that is ruining your relationship with people? Because honestly, the way he's trying to control Virginia, I forgot it. Yeah, I was going to call her that. I don't want to call her that. The way he's trying to control her, and the way he's so his thought process or his beliefs are so far to the far from center from hers. It's like you're looking at it, you're like, man, just re-examine what you're doing. The simple thing, as far as every time something you don't agree with something, you 2 steps out the door. That doesn't make sense at all. You can't go into a situation saying, hey, like if this doesn't go right, I'ma stop. No, that doesn't. It doesn't work like that. You have to, especially in a marriage. Like we what, 5 years, and it's like, if every time we didn't agree about something, we was like, we're out the door, we never would have made it through the first year, let alone 4 or 5.
We wouldn't have got to marriage.
We definitely, you're right. So it's like you guys are on the accelerated machine
time clock,
when it comes with marriages, and it's like, man, y'all have to learn to work with each other, and I feel like they can work if they start to understand where each other are coming from, with their beliefs.
Jack and Glenn.
I think Eric is using manipulation. That's a manipulation tactic. I'm leaving to see how she goes, and then she gives in to what he wants. We talk about Chris with manipulation. Eric is very good at manipulating Virginia and what he wants her to do, because that is, I'm gone. Well, this young girl wants marriage. She doesn't want to be divorced because she's seen so much divorce in her life. Y'all have had this conversation, and now you're going to use I'm gone. And she's like, oh, I don't want him to go because I don't want to be divorced like my parents, my mom, and my dad. Straight up manipulation. Eric is a manipulative person, and he's using that to pull on her emotions and her strings to get her to do what he wants her to do. I agree with Tommy when it really opened up the eyes, and he has to be a smart guy. He should understand why she don't want to have kids, because she don't want the kids. She don't want to go through. She want her kids to go through what she went through. She want to make sure this marriage is 100% right before we even throw kids on the table. I know he's a little bit older than her, and that age goes into a big difference too. And remember, his clock is ticking as well. He wants kids at a certain age. He want to be like his parents. He talks about his dad a lot, being a role model. His family, he's looking at his mom's marriage and them being very conservative and being, that type of lifestyle. So he's looking at their marriage and say, my parents did this, and comparing it. When you get into the comparing game with your marriage and somebody else's marriage, there's a problem and there's an issue. Y'all not the same people. And so he's comparing and has a model how he wants things set up. We got to realize this young girl, again, as Tommy said, on an accelerated process, who comes from a different walk of life from you. Eric seemed like he had, had some things taken care of, maybe well-to-do a little bit, didn't really want for anything. Virginia comes from a life where she being bounced around from aunt's house to mom's house to dad's house. She had to struggle a little bit. So her views are going to be different than yours. Her mindset is going to be different from yours. The environment and the people she grew up with, I guarantee you, is probably totally different from the people that Eric grew up with in the environment that he was in. And so she has a different mindset now. And can it work with both of y'all having 2 different political views? Sure, it can. But he has to be willing to compromise. If we listen to Eric and watch Eric doesn't want to compromise on anything that Virginia says. He wants to do it his way. He wants to do it his way. And I think that will be, not that they would have a divorce or not be together, but it's going to be a rift in their marriage because he always wants things to be done his way. He wants her to call him or text him every hour and a half. He can't text her when the plane lands or when the planes get ready to take off. Again, he wants it his way, So Eric needs to go ahead and learn how to compromise with Virginia, and they need to work on some things. And again, liking the ex's Facebook post or liking that on Facebook, it really ain't that serious. It should have a problem when they start DMing each other or calling each other. That's when you have an issue.
Yeah, I'm just gonna. The thing that bothered me with Eric is he was so stuck on. He said, I know what I believe, and that's it. And Dr. Viv was like, I want you to kind of change your mindset from this is my truth and it's always going to be my truth. And instead say, what can I gain from opening my mind and being more accepting? You know, Virginia made the point that we both grew up in the same kind of families. I mean, sans the divorce thing and all the step parents and stuff like that. She said we grew up with the same values. And so as I've gotten older, and I don't want to say, to me, I didn't think she was saying my values are completely different. It's just she's added another layer. And let's think about this. In 2021, there should be a different level of thinking when it comes to the world that we live in. You can't be so staunch when it comes to, I'm going to say it, the way the races are, the way political parties are, the way religion is. You know what I mean? You can't be so staunch that if you're not Baptist, then you got a problem. If you're not this, we have to have a level of tolerance. And that's the thing that bothered me with Eric. He said she's into social issues and I don't get into all that because it's hard. What's hard about it? I was lost. I was like, what's hard? I'm sure she doesn't expect you to go out and on the protest and go out there and march necessarily, but understand that I want to go. And that's what I figured. He said she's got a problem with the fact that he doesn't see her side at all. Like, you don't want to bend or compromise at all. You don't want to understand why people need extra equal rights at all. Like, you're not bending at all. That is not going to work. That's not going to work in a marriage. You're not going to agree. Most marriages, most husbands and wives do not agree on everything. But you have an understanding that that's the way you feel and that's the way I feel. And, we just not going to make a big deal about it. We're not going to fuss about it. We're not going to fight about it. I'm not going to try to change, I'm not going to try to change your mind when I know that's where you are about it. But I understand where you have an understanding. I understand why you feel that way. I don't feel that way, but at least I understand. That's something that me and my husband have talked about. In anything that we're talking about, I just want to know, do you understand where I'm coming from? Mm-hmm. And as long as you understand where I'm coming from, even if you don't hold the same ideals, at least be understanding. Eric is not understanding at all. And we got the comments too. People talking about where's his MAGA hat? Go ahead and put your MAGA hat on. He says, I know I have my views on country, I have my views on life, and I have views on things in general. I hope it's not to that extreme, but you never know. You never know. I wouldn't put it past them because, like Artieka said, it was a whole lot of people's PCPs, a lot of their attorneys that was there at the Capitol on January 6th. A lot of people they probably give to church with too. I did not know you thought that way. Well, here I am.
He's one of those guys that he needs to lighten up a little bit. Again, I think a lot of it comes from the fact that he was married the first time and it didn't work out. So he's so hell bent that he wants this to be perfect and he doesn't want to fail again. And he's not knowing that what he's doing is kind of pushing her away.
Sabotage.
He's kind of sabotaging and pushing her away. And it may or may not work out. We'll see in the next couple of weeks.
I hear that. Yeah, I get that. Eric and Virginia are a special team, and I think watching the Eric and Virginia conversation with Dr. Viviana was interesting, to say the least. Yeah. Interesting, because I think I understand that sometimes we are stuck in our ways and our views, and it can be sometimes hard to shift and to move. So I could understand his viewpoint on that. It's just that I think part for me that really clicked to me was when he was saying that she's got the problem, she's got the problem, she's got the problem, not me. And it's like, bro, you ain't even covering this old girl right now. But when you're talking to the rest of the gang, you want to tell everybody that everything's brilliant, it's smooth, you know, she's amazing, and like when you're here in front of the experts, you're just running her underneath the bus, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's where my concern was. I have got no problem with you saying there's some things we need to work out. But you literally are throwing her under the bus by saying, well, I ain't got a problem. She's got a problem. And so just the language in itself, I think it's where I have an issue with him. You know, the language he uses, it might be wrong. August Love, you want to say something? Go for it.
Yeah, I wanted to bring up the fact that Virginia's sister was a part of the LGBT community. And a lot of people have issues with that. And personally, I don't understand why there's an issue. You know, they're human. You know, at the end of the day, I put on pants, they put on pants just like I do. But I know that's one of the issues that he was speaking about. And, you know, that's a big one because she's family.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's family. That's a part of that community. That's why it's so important. And to just really kind of hone in on, in order for them to work, in order for them to understand each other, they have to understand that part, you know, because it has to be accepted, because at the end of the day, this is her sister. I think it's her sister, right? It's her sister. It's her sister. So it's like, what he doesn't see is he's just pushing her away with his beliefs by saying it's my way or the highway. And, you know, it's not going to work like that. And I hate seeing that, you know, because honestly, I think they can balance each other out if they start to understand each other a little bit better. But it has to work both ways. Like, I can't say I'm going to try to understand her, but she doesn't have to do that. Give me that same respect back. Right. Like, it doesn't work that way. Right. So that's a big one. I'm curious to see, are they going to talk more about that one particular issue? Because, that's a huge issue. A lot of people don't know how to deal with differences. You know what I'm saying? And because that's something in a marriage that you have to deal with. Like, you can't push that under the rug at all. You have to deal with upbringing differences, thought processes. Like, two people are two individuals who are like now married on one ship, and this ship has to go in the same direction, you know. So that's my thing.
I think one of the biggest issues they have is that Eric is gone all the time. I think we got to forget too, he's gone for 4 days, and they don't really have time to communicate. So now they're rushing everything into these production days and these long production hours because he didn't quit working. You know what I'm saying? He's still flying for 3 or 4 days. And so what we're seeing is the byproduct of them not being together every day, 24/7, having these conversations, and only having these conversations whether they're being prompted or being rushed to, because they're not communicating while he's gone. And I think that's one of the biggest issues, why we see some of this communication issues with them, and why some of these things have not been discussed. Because again, some of these things should have been discussed on their honeymoon. Like, do you want kids? You know, but they were too busy drinking and partying and relaxing. You can't have these conversations when both of y'all can barely talk. You know what I'm saying? And you slur your speech. So now you get back home, he has to fly. If he's in the reserve in the Air Force, he got drilled. So it's and she said it, I'm by myself sometimes. So when I get home, I don't want to fight and argue with him, which means they had tried some of these discussions, but they always get heated, and he uses that, I'm leaving then, or I'm bouncing, or, just stop. I just got home. And so they're both kind of passive aggressive when it comes to tough issues. And when it comes to tough issues, he just want to shut it down and just want to hug up on her and kiss. And when it comes to tough issues for her, she just want to go grab a drink and forget about her problems.
I see that. To be honest, I'll be honest. This is the most sober I've seen Virginia all season. And she was making sense. I said, well, so girl, you can do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you sound sober, and you actually were making a lot of sense in this episode. There was a incredible scene where at the end where they shared some of their their past experiences, and I was like, oh, this is fantastic. This is what we want to see, the bonding and you guys actually trying to understand one another. So those 5 minutes were so powerful, and I said, no drink in hand too, baby. That's what we want to see. You know what I'm saying? So I was happy for that. But I guess they got a lot of things they need to work through. But good point about the time frame is squished, so they have to rush some of the conversations as well. That makes a lot of problems. A lot of sense as well. Okay, what about Haley and Jacob? Madam Work. August, love, you go first, and then Jack and Glenn after.
We're on two totally different pages about Haley. He thinks Haley's trying. I think Haley is not trying and doesn't care to try and is not going to think about trying.
Mm-hmm.
I think that she took her friend's advice. What was her friend's name? Lauren?
Yeah.
She took Lauren's advice when Lauren was like, oh, so he just dresses badly. Fix it. But then when she fixed it, she realized she didn't like him still. And so at that point, she's just like, I'm done. Like, I don't really have anything else to do. Because she's saying that she's trying so hard and she's giving so much. And I'm like, when? What time? So I can find a timestamp on the episode and rewind and watch it again. Because I just don't see it. Not to say that he's putting up this, like, hardcore effort. But he has a weird sense of humor that she doesn't get with. Mm-hmm. And she's not trying to get with it. And I don't think that they were very well matched for each other for that reason. Now, I did find it interesting when Dr. Viviana brought her back her questionnaire and was like, look at what you wrote. Do you notice that you're doing this right now? And she's like, yeah, I know. And I'm not going to do anything different either. That's why I'm like, I don't think she's trying. And I don't see it for them for that reason alone. You hope for the best. I hope they make it to Prague as friends. I said that the last time, and I say it again this time. I hope that they could at least like deal with each other on a friendly level and they can travel somewhere together. But I don't see them making it to being married.
Dang, I didn't know you felt that way. I think Haley's trying because I know people that cut people like off. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like you, I'm gonna cut you off and move on, even if I have to work with you. Because at this point it's a job. We all know they probably not gonna make it. They probably gonna be like, nah, I'm a pass. It's a hard pass for me. But with Haley is actually sitting there trying to be friends with this guy. Like, we all hope at the end of the day they can be friends. For a person like Haley who hadn't been in a relationship since she was 21, so you got what, 7-8 years, or I don't know how old she is. You got 7 years that you hadn't been with a person, but you've been out here doing whatever it is that you want to do. I don't have to be loyal to a person. I don't have to be, friendly with a person if I don't want to. So that's where the try is. Like, I mean, is it a I'm giving 100%, 110% effort to be married to this guy? Of course not. But I am sticking around, trying to start, trying to reset, trying to be friends with this guy. But you still have to understand at the end of the day, Jake shot himself in the foot by asking a question of attraction, hearing the answer that he couldn't handle, accusing her of having a boyfriend, like starting arguments where there doesn't need to be an argument. Like, no, like, I'm only gonna take so much before it's like I'm checked out. Like, I'm trying to be a friend, but it's not necessarily working. So that's the try. And then for Jacob, I don't know what Jacob wants. Like, honestly, I just, like, at this point, it's like, Jake, like, what are you really trying to do? Because every conversation they had or were having, it kind of went the same direction. So it was like, we know what's gonna happen with them. We know, basically what's gonna, they're not gonna stick it out. I don't think they should stick it out personally, just because it's just gonna be even worse. Like, once the cameras leave, because then it's like nobody's there to put on. So that's my thought. That's Haley's try.
Okay, Jack and Glenn's.
I agree. I think Haley is trying, but all of her trying is trying to change him. That's what her trying is. She's not trying to change herself at all.
Yeah. I can see that.
She tried to get him some new clothes. You know what I mean? She said, I usually connect with people so easily.
I was like,
and so she's trying to make him into somebody that she can connect with. and it's not working. I think about Jacob, like Clara, and it was somebody else I was gonna say. Eric. He's got this background, you know, like Eric said, this is why I'm always, concerned about the cheating, because I was cheated on before. I'm leery about the social media stuff and everything. And Claire's like, in her relationship, I went to 3 years and we didn't have sex that much. I felt like I wasn't wanted. I think it's the same thing with Jacob. And he said that before. The reason why I'm feeling like you might have a boyfriend is because I had some trash girlfriends before. And when they didn't reciprocate what I was trying to give out, or weren't receptive, that's what it was. So they all have some hindrances in their past that, is coming forth. And so they're acting on that. I don't know. Yeah, I like how Dr. Viv brought that questionnaire. It was like, you said you were picky. And she was like, I did. What was the difference between those guys? How'd you get over it before? And she was like, difference is basically, I actually like those guys. I felt so bad. She was like, I actually liked them. I felt like trying to push past, give them some leeway. I was like, oh, wow. And then the other part that just made me so sad, Dr. Viv was like, come on, let's take a trip. And she took them to the bedroom. And we found out they don't sleep in the same room. They haven't slept in the same bed since the honeymoon. When they came to the apartment, they went to separate rooms. And she said, if you're going to try, this is why I say Haley is trying to fix him. She's not trying to fix herself. She said, let's do it like this. In order to start some connection, let's sleep in the same bed together and start the day and end the day on each other. So if it's something as simple as a good night kiss and a good morning kiss. And when it came time to put it into practice, Jacob was like, so can I get a good night kiss? No, I don't think I'm going to do that. Well, can we spoon? No, I don't think I'm going to do that either. She told Dr. Viv she was going to try. They got a fist bump. They fist bumped. Haley, let him kiss you on the cheek. You don't even have to kiss him. Let him kiss you on the cheek.
If the cheek is too close, forehead.
That too. She said, that's what I'm saying. She's trying in a way that I'm trying to bring him over to my side. I'm not trying to move over there at all.
I think the issue with him is that they got up first. She wasn't attracted to him when he came down the aisle. She didn't like him when it came out.
She's in the middle of the road.
She is Chris without being more vocal. And I say that because she didn't like him. She didn't want to tell him that she didn't like him. At least Chris told Paige, look, I'm not attracted to you. She tried to have sex with him to see if there was a connection there. There was no connection with the sex. Then she like, okay, I probably could get it past that. But then he accused her of having a boyfriend and he called her a liar. And at that point, she was like, you know what? When you already got somebody who's looking for a way out and they found no connection and you start calling them liars and you start calling them, that you got a boyfriend back home, she was done. And then she's like, you know what? When she got home and talked to her friend Lauren, you're right. I didn't give him a fair shake. Let me try to dress him up and see if that can make me more attracted to him. Nope, that didn't work either. And so now she's at the point like, you know what? I dressed him up. We try to have conversations. We talk about Chris and Paige hitting resets. These cats have hit a reset button a lot too.
They just ain't call it that.
They just ain't call it that. They just hit a lot of resets too. And he's like, we go 2 days and we go 2 days, then we have an argument. Then we go 2 days not talking to each other. Then we go 2 days and we're fine. So them hitting a lot of resets. And again, you see, we look at Jacob's face when she told him, only reason I had sex with you is because I thought I was supposed to try to do that. And he looked like, what? He was embarrassed by that. And again, he's missing the physical attraction. He got to realize there is a gap. I think this 10-year difference between them, the experts set them up for failure. That's a lot. Think about 10 years. That's a lot. She that's a whole decade.
With her inexperience.
With her inexperience, that's a decade apart. Well, 20 if you take him to try to live in the 80s. You know what I'm saying? So they're like 20 years apart with his mindset. And he's already established he got a home. So even if that doesn't work out, he's not leaving away from his home. He put too much work, time, effort in there. He's looking for a cookie cutter wife that will follow through everything that he wants to happen. And she's not willing to go with the program. And he's not handling it. You think Tommy, you started out was like, hey, he asked a question and he wasn't prepared for the answer. Mm-mm. Why ask and truth be told, can we be honest? He knew the answer to the question before he even asked.
Yeah.
He knew the answer. He just wanted to get verification.
Right.
Verification. He knew the answer to the question. He was hoping and praying that it may have changed overnight. Yeah. How can she be attracted to you? You sleeping in this room, she's sleeping in that room. If I'm attracted to you, we're going to snuggle up together. Your feet going to be on me, your legs going to be on me. We're going to cuddle. Y'all ain't even cuddle. And you're going to ask her the question, are you physically attracted to me? Dog, you in the other bedroom cold. you know.
That's the part you laughed about too.
Yeah.
Even to the point where it was like, what kind of sleep environment do you like? I'm like, dang, you don't pay attention at all. Y'all slept together in the honeymoon. You didn't notice that he had the fan on? Right. You really don't care.
Yeah, he that cold because he's hot, because he ain't getting none. He's not even bothered. And his wife like 20 feet down the hall. And so again, she tries just enough to see if she can get a change out of him. And again, he's trying to change, but she's not going to change because she's already checked out. He's not attracted. She don't think he's funny, and she's just going through the motions. And I think that's the biggest thing. She's like, you know what? Let me go through this motion for the next 8 weeks, and we call it a day.
The only thing I will give Haley credit for when she was talking to Dr. Viv, she said she was looking for somebody to compliment her lifestyle, and she said he's doing everything, every change that I want him to make, he's doing it. And to her credit, she says, but I feel like, how much does he have to change? She kind of was like, he's changing, but it's almost like it's not fair that I'm wanting to completely redo him. And he's willing to do it. It's not fair for me to keep asking that. And she's right. It's not fair. So stop it. Right now. Stop it.
I'm with you on that. I hear you on that. Someone put a good comment there. Said that Haley said during the honeymoon it was drunk sex, and then when they got to the apartment, she claimed it was dutiful sex. I'm confused. Which is it, girl?
Oh, right.
Anybody want to address that particular point?
It was a little bit of both. Yeah, I think it was a little bit of both. She was drunk, and then she was trying to find a way to connect with this guy. And she was trying to find a way to connect, and again, she couldn't do it. I mean, even if the sex was the bomb, if that might have helped her connect, but she couldn't connect. It was drunk, but she tried to find a connection, and the sex couldn't make her connect neither, because at the end of the sex, she still had to look over at him, and he still talked about the 80s. He still talked about his swimming pool. He still talked about himself, and he didn't really appreciate it. So she tried, and it just didn't work out.
I think it was drunk and dutiful. She did the same thing as Virginia and Eric. That liquor gave her some liquid courage. It gave her enough courage to say, let's do this. I am his wife. Let's do it. Because sober, she would have never. So she was drunk enough and got that liquid courage. It was like, let me just do it. Let me just dive in. We got married. But it didn't work.
August Love, you want to save Haley?
I think she just blamed it on the alcohol. That's it. Right. I've been sitting here singing the song this whole time. I think it was just she was drunk, man. She she didn't like the guy from the get go.
Yeah,
Like,
she was very awkward with him at the
It's
wedding.
not bad though.
Him at the wedding.
It's bad.
yeah, it was terrible. So and he obviously didn't perform well because
She didn't remember that.
I mean, at the end of the day, man, if it's good, you're gonna get some more.
Because you look at Chris. Chris did the exact same thing. Like he tried for the attraction, but he at least did it twice.
Just to make sure it's confirmed.
It was good because Paige keep giving it to him.
Right.
He held out for 3 days. What did he say? He saved. Did he say he saved himself? I can't remember
man, yeah, he
what.
said something like that.
Yeah,
Man.
Oh,
yeah.
he fasted for 3 days.
He fasted for 3 days. That's what it was.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, you got it. It was good. I'm gonna go back for it again because you keep being willing to give it. But Haley's like, no, thank you.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm straight.
She said, no,
She said
thank
she's
you.
straight.
I hear that. No, thank you. Okay. Last couple, we have Brie and obviously Vincent. You know, we got to see some good vibes from them. You know, finally got to see them, you know, progress, and you know, it looked better than it did last week. That's I can say. You know, we've gone from shut down to this lively party. So, Jack and Glenn, talk to me about it. What's your thoughts on Brie and Vincent?
I think Brie and Vincent, I think they're turning the corner here.
Okay.
And when I say they turned in the corner here, because he was able to open up with Dr. V about his self-esteem issues, with his tight shirt, why he was mad. My only problem was that he couldn't communicate that to Brie. We didn't see them say this. We didn't see him communicating that to Brie at the dance when they were dancing. I think he should have said that to Brie when they were at the salsa instructor or the salsa dance place they was at. He should have said that. Didn't have to take for Dr. V to be there to pull that out of him. He should have been able to say, you know what? I don't feel confident about myself. My shirt is tight. I'm hot. I'm not feeling good. I really want to impress you. And we knew what it was. He didn't want to be embarrassed. Again, the beating thing, the champagne, it was embarrassment in front of Brie. He's trying to be perfect in front of her, knowing that she loves you or she highly likes you for who you are. She already likes you for who you are. Whether you're doing bitty things or you're doing the masculine things or whether you're a perfectionist or not. We all know in relationships, we try to put our best foot forward, but you're going to make a mistake in a relationship. You're going to make a mistake in a marriage. You're going to have an argument in marriage. You're going to do something that your spouse doesn't like, or you're going to do something that is opposite of what your spouse expects for you. But again, if your spouse loves you, they love you unconditionally. Whether you spilling champagne, whether you having a salsa dance and you can't get it right or not, she just wanted to spend the time with him. And he was so selfish that all he thought about was himself and not about her. And that, or them together. And I think that was one of my biggest issues with him. But I'm happy that he's able to talk some of his issues out. Because again, the aggression that we see him sometimes, or the frustration, at least he has the decency to talk it out. I mean, look at all the episodes that we saw him get mad. He at least had the opportunity to talk him out, whether it was him getting ready to leave or him with the salsa. He has enough sense to say, give me a minute. Let me think about it. And let me come back, and then he realized that he's wrong. He just has to become quicker with that, so it doesn't waste 2 or 3 days or 3 hours and him sulking or being upset.
Yeah. I like that he said something that we talked about last week. He said, you know, he has these sensitivities, but he doesn't want her to feel like she has to walk on eggshells around him. He said that he's able to verbalize that with Dr. Viv. He said, I don't want her to have to tiptoe around my feelings. I don't want to put her in that box. It's constraining. But I like that Brianna said to him, you know, he said, I'm trying to impress her. I'm trying to be smooth. You know, I want to do things right, you know, and Dr. Viv said, I get it. So what you're doing is you're trying to be perfect. And when it doesn't go that way, you just freak out. You freak out. And she's like, it's okay. Brianna said, I like your quirks. I like you the way you are. And she said, babe, you're impressing me with the little things. It doesn't have to be the big thing. You know, I think about my father used to buy my mom a bracelet every year. And she says, why do you buy me bracelets? I don't even wear bracelets. He was trying to impress her and do something that he felt like she would receive. But she's like, you don't even have to do that. I don't need to wear bracelets. And so Brianna's like, you don't have to go over the top. Not saying what it's nice when you go over the top, but don't feel like you have to be at 100 all the time, because the 25 is good to me. It's good to me, Vincent, Champagne Vinny. I'm loving every minute so far. And she really is. She is, it's so, it's, I don't know. It's, again, it's the past coming up in here. He probably had to do a whole lot before for a woman. He had to do a whole lot. They didn't appreciate the little bit that he did. And he's not used to somebody just being okay with, oh my gosh, you brought me flowers. And it's only 3 of them, as opposed to a whole room full of flowers. She's like, no, just the 3 is good. I'm still in love with Brianna and Vincent. I love them so much. I thought it was gross that he made her eat cheese and whipped cream. And I'm not playing that truth or dare, but that whole thing was cute. I felt like you too, Coach, that when he was like, what's one thing I don't like about myself? And she's like, your head. I was like, uh-oh. He said, what about my head? Oh, it's your hair. Ding, ding. They could play about it, and, it wasn't a sore point. It wasn't a sore point. So I could see that their conversation with Dr. Vid really helped.
Yeah, I agree with you guys, man. Like, they are a joy to see when things are going right. When Vincent throws his temper tantrums, it's like you're like, bro, like you need to grow up, man. But I knew that it was a thing of, I want to be perfect for her because she can't see me when I make my mistakes, and he just has to get out of that. Mm-hmm. He's still trying to impress her. He has to look at it as, we're together, we're still trying to learn each other and stuff like that. You have to understand, like, once that ice is broken, man, you can relax.
Yeah.
Like him popping the champagne and the spilling, that's an opportunity for you to relax, because it's one thing to try to impress a person, but it's a whole nother thing to present this perfect life, present that you're completely perfect. No, you make mistakes, you drop things, you mess up, and that's okay, because she does the same thing, It's funny, but we all go through that stage. When me and Artieka first started dating, we went to Stone Mountain. I'm thinking it's a date. Artieka just thinking she going out with somebody. I got my loafers on and everything. I'm saved some money to ride the little trolley up to the top. But lo and behold, we had to walk down this hill.
In the dark.
We didn't have our phones died. And I had loafers on. She had Nikes on, and we looking at a kid's light up shoes to get down this mountain. And so after that, it was like, hey, the perfectness is out the door, man. You done seen me sweating. You done seen me wanting to take my shoes. I'm tired. My feet hurt. So it's like once that ice is broken, man, you have an opportunity to just relax and really get to know this person on a whole deeper level. And that's the beauty of relationships to me.
I think that we look at, or not we being married people, but people before they get married, look at marriage as an idealized thing. And it's always going to look this way, and it's always going to be perfect. And it's going to be beautiful, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that, and I'm always going to be smooth, and he's always going to be this way. And it's not that way. It is literally the polar opposite of that. You have those moments that are beautiful and glamorous and what everybody feels like they dream of, but then you have the real moments of, I don't even know, you threw up on something and now I got to clean it up because you're sick. Like, it's just, you have those moments, and when you go into something, especially getting married and not knowing the person, it's like you're looking at it from an idealized standpoint of we're going to get married and it's going to be perfect. We're not ever going to have any issues, mostly because you feel like they don't have to connect with your past self. They get you from wedding day forward, and you can structure that person to be whoever you want it to be. And I think that that's what Vincent was trying to do, was structure himself as this cool guy who has it all together. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Like, watch me work, watch me do my thing. And Brianna's kind of like, it's okay to just, not have it all together today. Like, spilling something doesn't mean anything bad to me. And so I hope that this meeting with Dr. Viviana can help get him over that hump, and things can work out for them. Not to say that Bree is the perfect one in the relationship, but she's the one that has the least issues with the tantrums and things like that. But I didn't even have a lot to write down about them when we were doing our review. I was like, I smiled a lot with their interaction, because it's like they got it and they're willing to do the work to move past whatever that is. So I'm cool with Vincent and Brianna. I think they're going to make it. I just think that, like everybody else, all people involved, not just on the show, we all got some work to do on ourselves.
I wonder after the show, do they still have access to like the Dr. Viviana and Pastor Cal? Because I mean, like, continued therapy, continued
she said that they can contact her, but she is not their therapist. She can get them in touch with someone in the area, or they can sign up to do counseling with her. Basically, she was like, I have a fee.
Yeah, that's what she's basically saying.
I think
this ain't free.
That will be in a very important thing for them to move forward. Maybe not like all the time, but a check-in, like you go to the dentist or something like that.
I think I remember, I don't know why I feel like I remember this, but from like the time the experiment ends until like they have the reunion, they still have that kind of interaction with them. It's less than it was on the show, but once after the reunion, when they like really go to real life, it'd be like Artieka said, for a fee.
Hey, she got a business too, though. She got to get paid. I mean, she gets paid. But I think Vincent is trying. I still think there's some insecurities there that he has to work on. I think he should continue to open up some more. And I think Bree, and he said it, this is the part I think we got to hit. He said it. I don't want her to walk on eggshells. To me, when he said that, I was like, you getting it, bro. Like, you know what? When he said that, I like, you understand. It's not like you're oblivious to what's going on. You know that you're making her walk on eggshells. You know that you're making your home life or the situation kind of difficult for her, and you recognize that. And so because you love her so much, and because you want to be a perfectionist and you want to make everything right, you're going to do everything you can in your power to make sure she doesn't feel like she's walking on eggshells. So if Bree would brought up, let's go to counseling afterwards, I think he'll be like, okay, let's do it. Because I don't want you to feel like you're walking on eggshells in our relationship. I want it to be free. I want you to be able to have communication. And it's funny how even at their wedding, he was like, I want you to be honest with me, but he can't take it when somebody's honest with him. I don't know if y'all remember that. He's like, yo, yeah, we both be honest, but he can't handle it when she's honest with him. And he can't even be honest with himself without beating himself up. So
I think it's interesting watching Bree and Vincent. I definitely believe they'll make it. I just think that they're gonna have some issues they're gonna have to sort out. I mean, that's every couple, but I mean, in the sense of the fact that I think he needs therapy, and Clara need extensive therapy, because his insecurity isn't short term. For instance, like, guys, we go through this, maybe your first girlfriend, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know what you're doing, you know what I'm saying? You're a little bit, anxious about it, but you kind of ease yourself into it after a while, right? But we're now at a stage of, we're almost 3-4 weeks into it. And bro, the shutdowns, everything that was happening, and the shutdowns are really extreme. So that speaks to the fact there's a deeper sense of the insecurity within himself. And I'm wondering if it's because of the way that he views Bree in comparison to himself, like whether he thinks that he's got a good one and it's almost too good for me. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And that's causing the extra tension that he's feeling that caused the shutdown. So I was happy that when he said to Dr. Viviana that, you know, I can see that my behavior is causing her to walk on eggshells. I hope he's saying it from a place of I genuinely understand and not performative understand. I mean, I'm saying some things to make myself look good. But I generally do hope that he means it like that. But I definitely think he should look at maybe getting, you know, some therapy up in there, because we grown now, and we still having these shutdowns. And that speaks to a larger problem within himself. If dancing triggered you to shut down, bro, you know, I want it to work with you and Bree. So as much as I felt Bree might say some things, this is showing a larger proportion that you've got some things to deal with. And if you want it to work long term, you know, I would advise him to go and just have a counselor or therapist and just talk through some of the things you've experienced, and what you feel, so that you can get it off your chest, man. And don't make Bree, because otherwise what will happen is Bree becomes the rehabilitation center, and nobody can handle all of that. Do you know what I mean? No one can handle it. And if you don't tell her, you blow up. We lose either way. Do you know what I mean? So I hope he does go and get that sorted, because I can see them working together. I can see them, you know, long term going together. But let me get you guys' final thoughts on the show this week, episode 10, and maybe some what you think might be happening in the next few weeks. If I go to August Love Story, if I get you guys, what's your final thoughts today?
You go first.
You got it.
I want Chris and Paige to just stop playing with us. Haley and Jacob, I want Haley to stop lying to us. Ryan and Clara, I would like for Ryan to explain give me a tangible, or give Clara, not me obviously, but give Clara a tangible thing that she can reach for that helps build trust. Because if you talk about trust, I was watching another podcast and they said trust is earned in droplets and lost in buckets. So what is she doing to earn the trust in the droplets? Like, what can we do to help with that? Like, what is it that you need from her? What is it that you're missing? If you can communicate that to her, that at least would help her out a little bit. Who am I missing? Brianna and Vincent. Vincent just needs to get over the perfection image. Like, marriage isn't perfect. You're not perfect. And TV is going to push like all those imperfections to the forefront because they see them. Like, we see it because we're not experiencing it with you. Like, it's edited to make it be glaringly visible. And if he can just get over that, I think that they'll be okay. Who's the last couple?
Eric and Virginia.
Eric and Virginia. I don't know what to say about Eric. I want Eric to get it together. Like he exhausts me with his I'm just gonna leave, because at this point, if he told me that, I think we're like time number 4.
Something like
third
that.
time would have been a charm. Leave, bye. Like, stop, don't do this. Like, I don't do that well. I don't, like, you can't manipulate me with that. If you're gonna leave, just leave. I'll show you the door. Let me know when this stuff is over with, because we can get some divorce papers signed. But I think that they took a good step in the right direction with their sitting down and talking and getting everything out in the open about the kids and their upbringings. But he's going to have to bend more. He's expecting her to do all the bending, and he is going to bend more. And I had put a comment in the section. I know somebody asked, and I just wanted to say this out loud. I looked it up in Georgia. Not having sex is not grounds for an annulment in Georgia. So because they got married in Georgia, it's not grounds for an annulment. The only things that are pretty much grounds are like you being fraudulent in who you are. But they can't get an annulment because they didn't consummate the marriage. They have to get a divorce. And at this point, they get a divorce. Like, divorce is okay. Like, I don't know what the glaring issue is surrounding divorce. It happened. It was on TV.
Yeah.
The only thing that I can see is that, I know they say some churches won't marry you if you get a divorce. Get married in the garden. I don't know. Find something else to do. But do something different. But like, get a divorce. Like, it's okay. Like, people say that divorce is not an option. For some people, it should be. like exercise it. I'm not telling people to go and freely get divorced. I don't tell people like y'all should get a divorce, but be able to use that as an option if you need to.
Yeah.
Marriage doesn't work for everybody.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
I don't have anything to say because she said it all. I just want to say thank you guys for talking with us again about this show, because it's at this point it's fun to me. I look forward to Sundays talking to you guys. I look forward to Wednesdays watching it. So go subscribe to everybody's channel. Since Talisa is not here, I'm gonna go ahead and say that. Everybody subscribes to everybody's channel. August Love Story, Little Black Book, Jack and Glenn. Yeah.
And as you guys call her, Baby August says hi. She is literally waving in the background.
Yeah.
And she's really truly Baby August because she was born in August too.
You should have.
Oh man. I just want to see, for Chris and Paige situation, I just want to see Paige come out on top somehow. And I just want her to get a couple subtle wins and understand his manipulation and try to realize that she can go the other direction, or she can don't have to take this. I don't want to take this abuse. I want Chris to understand and realize what he's putting her through, and hopefully he'll get it and maybe apologize for what he put her through. Maybe that's asking too much, but we just from that standpoint. With Clara and Ryan, I just want to see both of them handle their sexual issues therapeutically, because they both have sexual issues. He has an issue with not trying to give her all of himself, but yet wants things in return. And she has an issue that she can not separate, but she doesn't know what true love is, and she only knows what sex is. To me, that's an underlying issue somewhere in her life, and that she needs some therapy or some conversation about to help her, because you just can't be giving it up and not be emotionally attached. Those who are spiritual understand soul ties. That means there is a couple, if she's just giving it up, that she has a lot of things attached to her and a lot of things tied to her, and because of past behaviors of having sex with no emotion. Now she wants sex with emotion, with some emotion, and the guy that she's with is not giving her sex. So now she equates, I'm not getting no emotion from him, but he's doing everything else right. From what we see, he's doing everything else right. So now she has an issue there. I want to see them be able to get that help. I want to see with Jacob and Haley. I just want to see Jacob be quiet for a minute and let her really express herself and not really talk about the physical attraction. Try to find something else that him and Haley can agree upon that's other than physical attraction, that's other than sex. Try to find something else there, whether it's conversation. Because think about it, he's always want her to like something of him. But have we ever taught her, Jacob, find something that him and Haley could do together? And so that's why I need him to go. We talked earlier about being a man, as Artieka said, our bishop talks about. Again, find that connection that you and your wife can connect to, where she can feel comfortable. I know we're on a short time frame, and they're on a short time frame, but find something. If it ain't working, she can't connect to your stuff. Can you connect with something of hers? Whether it's hanging out with her and her friends, going to whatever case may be, find something there. I want to see him to be able to do that. Who did I miss? Brianna and Vincent. Again, I said it. I just need Vincent to be able to think and be able to express himself openly and not wait for 6 or 7 hours. Or if he can't, you know what, Brianna, can you give me about 40 minutes? Give me about an hour. I'm upset right now. I'll come back and we'll discuss it later. At least communicate that piece instead of just having a blow up. And I hope I didn't miss anybody. Virginia and Eric. I just need Eric to understand where Virginia's coming from and be compassionate to her needs and not be so forceful and manipulative when he's trying to get her to do what he wants to do. It's like playing with Pinocchio. Because again, if she doesn't do what he wants to do, he pulls a string of I'm leaving. And then she conforms. And so I need him to stop pulling that string and to be able to enjoy his wife. And when he's home, you're gone for a lot of time. You're on the air. So enjoy her and not compare this marriage to your last marriage. Hey guys, I really enjoy this each and every week. Just make sure you hit the subscribe button. We'll put the link to our page in the chat. Also check out our new video. It's kind of funny how Paige and Chris should have handled Bible study. So check it out.
Yeah, I'm like I'm like Tommy on this one. I don't have a whole lot more to say. But yeah, we'll do the due to Lisa Ray's part. Yeah, go like and subscribe to all of our channels. Go watch some videos, like those too. And so my last thought, I want to do the same thing. Artieka brought this up, and I was like, you know what? Divorce is, they always make a point to stress that this is a legally binding marriage. And it is. But if you have to get divorced, to me, it's not first of all, it's not necessarily shameful anyway. If it doesn't work out, it just doesn't. It wasn't meant to be, it just wasn't, to quote MC Light. But the other thing is, you got an interesting story. The next relationship you get in, it's one thing to say, I was married for 10 years, we got kids, and it fell apart. That's a different kind of divorce. If you say, hey, I was on Married at First Sight, it didn't work out. It's less, you got less of a stigma. I don't think it's fair to scare them into it's a legally binding marriage. And for some people, it's like, really, that's the thing that's holding them there. So that was the last comment I wanted. When you brought that up, Artieka, I was like, yeah, it's not, in this case, it's okay. If you end up in a divorce, I don't think nobody's gonna look at you crazy because you got divorced from a Married at First Sight TV show wedding. I don't think they are.
Right, they're not. I don't know. They just have to get over that. I know people are like, I don't want to be divorced, but I don't want to get married at first sight. So,
It is what it is. That's what they say. Well, guys, thank you again for giving us, some of your wisdom and giving us holistic points of view again once more. August Love and Jack and Glenn, really do appreciate your time, and I really do appreciate you guys, shelling out as always, man. Audience members, thank you so much for sticking with us. I appreciate you guys. You're lively in the comment section, banter, wisdom, different thoughts indeed, which they're putting out in the comment section. That's always powerful as always. So once again, we're drawing it to a close. Thank you guys. Make sure you guys like the video before you leave, and make sure you leave a comment as well after the video ends. It helps with the good optics, and like the people said in the panel, make sure we follow them as well, guys. All right, make sure you like, you share, and you subscribe to their channels. That's August Love Story and Jack and Glenn. All right, guys, have a great night, enjoy yourselves, and we will see you soon. Stay hydrated, baby.